Good Saturday morning, everybody. Once again, it is time for what every cruiser wants. And this week, we are going for the trifecta of cruise comments. We're looking for the big three. We're looking for entitlement because you can't have a comment without putting in your loyalty level. I'm Diamond. I'm Platinum. I'm Triple Pearl. Onyx Titanium. Got to get that in somewhere. Got to get in some rudeness. And boy, we have a lot of rudeness this week. I don't get why can you not write a comment without just being a total tool about it? And of course, we've got to get in some everybody agrees with me. Everybody else wants this change too. So let's jump right into today's comments. My wife and I are passengers that enjoy movies under the stars. The movie list you shared today is biased. It is designed for kids and completely ignores people who are 50 plus. Throw these movies overboard and play more classic movies. The main reason many people come back to Carnival is because of the dive-in movies. In my humble opinion, there is nothing better than being under the stars with a Caribbean breeze in your face, drink in your hand, and watching a movie, but not when the movies are shit. Clearly, this person does not like the movies that are played on the big screen on the ship. They want more classical movies. You know what? That's okay. If you don't like the movies, you don't have to watch them. It's okay to suggest maybe there be some more classical movies. Are all the movies garbage? Well, I don't think that they are, but they got to get one of the big three in there and say the main reason that many people even cruise whatsoever is just so they can watch movies under the stars. Well, what do you guys think? Do they need to play more classic movies? Is that the main reason you cruise? Is it only for movies under the stars? Or do you think this person is just trying to speak for other people because they themselves are the ones that don't like it? Now, no matter how many times it's explained, somebody still constantly writes in a comment that they don't like the TV shows and the TV stations that are available on cruise ships. They have the option of getting the internet, and with the internet, you can watch just about every single thing out there, but no, that isn't good enough. Instead, they want the cruise lines to pay for it, which means your prices go up. And the real question is, how many people would really be watching it? Talk to the beards, as you call them, and tell them this. We need the main networks, plus Fox News in this election year in the States, plus we want the USA Network, HBO, and FX. As you guys are too cheap to pay for it, make it known there should be an option of, say, $20 to $100 increase in the cost of the cruise, and add on the internet of cheers, that kind of thing. 90% would pay for an add-on like this. So the cruise lines is too cheap to pay millions and millions of dollars to add things like the USA Network, Fox News, HBO. I mean, are these really things that cruisers want on board their ship? Are you booking your cruise vacation hoping to watch HBO? A $20 to $100 increase in the cost of your cruise just so you can watch more TV. Keeping in mind that that is already called the internet package, but also according to them, 90% of cruisers out there would pay for this. 90% of y'all want this option right now. You want to pay $100 more for your cruise so you can watch USA Network, FX, and HBO. One of the big three. I'm going to speak for almost everybody else and say 90% of the people want to pay more for HBO. What do you guys think? Do you want to pay more to watch HBO on your next cruise? Now, people do have their favorite crew members on board cruise ships. Could be your bartender, could be your cruise director, could be your piano player, could be the staff in the main dining room. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But look, if you're going to write in a comment because you feel someone's not getting enough credit out there, you know you can't do it unless you get some rudeness in there. And of course, some everybody agrees with me. Perhaps you should show respect for the piano bar entertainers. I never see you talk about them. It's always cruise directors or waiters or cabin stewards, never piano players. Eden Parker and Greg Cardoso, for example. They are more important to many cruisers than the blah 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 of cruise directors. I know you were one, so not surprised you were so biased and so dull. More respect for piano entertainers who are the rock stars of every cruise. Again, nothing wrong with loving the piano players, absolutely not. But you don't have to do it in such a nasty way. Well, you were a cruise director, so that's just why you're biased and you're dull. They are more important to many, many cruisers. Way more important than the blah, blah, blah cruise directors. So someone took some time out of their day to write that type of comment, to say, I like the piano players, they don't get enough respect, everybody likes them better, and you're biased and dull. Blah, blah, blah. Now, we've had some really awesome piano players, don't get me wrong, and I do like the piano players on cruise ships. But what do you guys think? Are they more important than the cruise directors? Do many cruise passengers care more about piano players than they do any other crew member on board the ship? Next up, I got a little segment this week I'm going to call Ass Hats with Keyboards. Excuse my French, but yes, we are going to call it Ass Hats with Keyboards. It's kind of like a subsection of what every cruiser wants, because some people seem to forget cruising is for everybody, and everybody on a cruise can have fun. It doesn't matter if you're 20, it doesn't matter if you're 65. It's all about getting on the ship and having a little bit of fun. But for this person, no, they don't want certain ages on their ships. I am sure to be berated by your fanatics, but I don't care. Why is so much of Carnival cruising geared towards a demographic of older? Of course, most of us under 30s tend to avoid cruising on some ships. Some cruises when we know it will mostly be made up of decrepit, miserable people. My partner blank and are on the Sunrise, and we are guessing the average age is 65. This is too old for any of us to have the fun you guys go on about all the time. Can you confirm this? Carnival would be smart to have one ship for the 18 to 30 demographic. Look at this photo of the old ladies dancing in the nightclub, and you will see why the rest of the dance floor is empty. So clearly they are under 30. They don't like the fact that there's an older demographic on board those ships having fun, having a good time. You know, in one part of the comment they said, look at these ladies dancing on the dance floor having fun. But then they say they're miserable and decrepit. Well, which is it? Are they having fun or are they miserable and decrepit? Because if you got a photograph of them dancing in the nightclub, well, it sure sounds like they were having a good time. Now, Carnival, they would be smart, according to them, to have one cruise ship that only people between the age of 18 and 30 are allowed to cruise on. So nobody over 30 would be allowed to get on that cruise ship. You know what? I'm going to get behind this one. I am going to say they are absolutely right. They should get exactly what they want in this case. One cruise ship that only people 18 to 30 are allowed to cruise on from Carnival Cruise Lines. I say let's give it to them. But that also means that every other Carnival-owned cruise ship out there, if you are over the age of 30, you cannot sail on it, period. You want a ship that's 18 to 30 only? Fine. But every other ship, you're not allowed to sail on because you are not over the age of 30. How does that sound? Does that sound right? Does that sound fair? Does that sound reasonable to you? So yes, this week's new Ass Hat with a Keyboard award, for me anyway, goes to this particular comment who says, cruise ships shouldn't have people of certain ages on them because I just can't have fun. Well, sounds like maybe you should just stay home. Let's keep this party rolling and let's talk about getting something for free, because I have a comment of somebody who thinks the cruise lines should be providing them this for free. Please tell the beards every cabin category should come with free slippers. Walking on carpet or walking in the bathroom barefoot is disgusting, and we should take them home. Carnival's not going to launder the slippers once they've been opened and used. All right, so they don't like to walk on the carpet in their cabin, so the cruise line should give them free slippers so they can take them home. Now, what's the real solution here? Should the cruise lines spend money to put a pair of slippers, 2 pairs of slippers, remember, on average double occupancy, 2 people in a room, 2 pairs of slippers in every single cabin for every single cruise they go on all year long? Who thinks that that's just going to cost a couple of bucks? And who thinks if the cruise lines did that, they wouldn't pass the cost on to the passenger? Or is really the obvious, easy solution, if you want to wear a pair of slippers while you are on board your cruise ship, you pack a pair of slippers in your carry-on luggage. As adults, how do we simply not understand this is how the world works, and the easiest solution is for you to go, oh, I like slippers. I've packed some slippers. I'm now ready to go cruise. Now, for the true trifecta comment, because we got all 3 in this next comment. We got our loyalty level in there. We've got this is what other people want in there. And we've got some rudeness in there. We are going to get all 3 with this particular comment. And this comment is really just about a blanket. I am a platinum level cruiser. I want to pass on 2 gripes that I am not alone at all in making for sure. Why are Carnival comforters so thick? I always have to tell my cabin steward to remove it with a sheet and a blanket. Last time on the Glory, my wife and me returned from dinner to find a blanket on top of the comforter. This is number 2. Maybe hire staff that speak English. Just saying. Why not provide thinner comforters and leave a blanket in the closet for those who feel a chill? Waking up with a sweating body is not something any cruiser wants. All right, so right off the bat, we've got to get out there. I am platinum. That must be known when I make a comment. You must listen to me. The comforters on Carnival cruise ships, they are too thick. And I am not alone in thinking this for sure. They know what other people want. They know what every other cruiser out there needs. And then finally, I'm sorry, it's just as rude as you possibly can be. Maybe you should hire people who just speak English. You know, if you don't like the comforter on the bed, you can take it off. If you want a thinner blanket, you can ask your room steward and they will provide it. People, again, making a very easy fix, a very easy solution, way more complicated. And now you have to write comments in instead talking about, well, the staff needs to be speaking better English so they can understand what I want, because I mean, I'm platinum and people agree with me. And if they spoke English, maybe they would get it through their head that I am right, because that's exactly how these types of comments come across to everybody else. But what do you guys think? Are the blankets too thick on Carnival? If you want a thinner blanket, do you have a problem with getting one from the room steward? Or do you not like to talk to your room steward because apparently cruise lines just don't hire people that don't speak English? And finally, our last comment of the day. Now, there are some people out there that if they worded their comments correctly, if they thought before they type, they would have a real legitimate concern and would probably get a more positive response, more positive feedback, and a better outcome than just straight coming out the gate as a total jackass. If you're going to write in a comment just being ugly, rude, as nasty as you possibly can be, and then want something at the end, want something to go your way, who do you think is listening to this type of comment? Because y'all take a look at this comment. By the time it even gets to the end, I think this person's just a jerk. I watched your reel, John Heald. DM me urgently. You said there would be 40 dogs on Carnival Celebration. I am on this cruise. I am disgusted. I think this is terribly unfair to the people like me who are allergic to dogs, and 50% of people are. A ship is a confined area, and a person with allergies could easily be assigned to a table near them at dinner. Even if you do not allow them to bring the dogs to dinner, the owners will still smell like dog. Personally, I think this service dog thing has gone way too far. Dogs don't want to go on a ship, and most people don't want dogs to be in those places. I am asking for a full refund or full credit to move to another cruise. Now, there are two sides to this comment, and both sides can be considered correct. First of all, these dogs going on this ship, these 40 dogs going on this ship, they are going with a group of visually impaired individuals. They are service dogs, actual seeing eye dog service dogs. They're not emotional support pets. This isn't the lady rolling around her peacock in the Walmart because it's an emotional support animal. No. These are service animals. By law, they are allowed on the cruise ship. ADA. They can go on the cruise. The cruise line must provide reasonable accommodation. So whether you like the animals on board or you don't like the animals on board, legally the animals can be on board. So personally, I hope these 40 individuals and their 40 service animals, I hope they have a really great cruise. Enjoy it. Have a great time, because the biggest problem with service animals is they're working. You can't stop and give them belly rubs. That's the biggest problem with service animals, at least in my opinion. Now, there is the other side of the coin. There are people that are terribly, deathly allergic to cats and dogs. Is it 50% of the people out there? No, it is not. I don't know where they got that number. They want to inflate things, make things bigger, just, of course, to prove their point. 50% is not the actual number. Google it. It's roughly 10 to 20% of people worldwide, not just in the United States, worldwide, have some type of cat and dog allergy. And if you had a severe enough case where your health could seriously be affected by being on this type of cruise with that many dogs, I could get behind the fact that maybe you should get a refund. Maybe you should get moved to another cruise. But only if you come at it in a proper and respectful way. Because after reading this comment, I hope they don't ever get anything. In my opinion, they're such a disgusting human being. They don't deserve anything. Better hope they bought insurance. That's the attitude I have after reading that. Had the comment said something along the lines of, hey, I have a quick question. I know that these service animals are going to be on the cruise. I'm happy that they're there and they're going to get to enjoy the cruise. I, however, have a very terrible allergy to cats and dogs that could severely affect my health. What is the possibility of maybe me getting moved to a different ship because this is needed medically? I bet you then people would have been like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. Let's accommodate this person. It's all about how you approach the situation. But that's not how they approached it. They said there's going to be 40 dogs on the celebration. I am disgusted. What are you disgusted about? Over 5,000, 6,000 people going to be on the ship? And a few dogs? But they're not done there. They have to go on. Well, even if they go to dinner and they're not allowed to bring their dogs, those owners will smell like dog. So here's my question. Have you ever gotten in the elevator with some of these people on a cruise ship? Is that smell in the elevator worse than the smell of a dog? Because if we're going to stop people from cruising based on the way they smell, well, we're going to have a lot of open cabins here pretty soon. Then they say dogs don't want to be on cruise ships. Thank you, Dr. Doolittle, for letting us know what these dogs wanted. I had no idea. No dog has ever come up to me and said, hey, Chris, I don't want to go on a cruise ship. Glad somebody knows what these dogs want. Yes, I'm poking fun at this person at this time. And of course, most people, they don't want these dogs on these ships at all. How does this person get along in daily life? You can go to the grocery store and see a service dog. You can get on an airplane and see a service dog. You can go to a movie theater, an amusement park, a hotel, and see service animals. Do you run around to each and every one of these places and tell them you're disgusted, nobody wants them here, and I demand a full refund? I'm curious to know how this person gets along in this world. Personally, I have sailed on cruise ships with service animals on board before. And you kind of have to look for them the majority of the time. Otherwise, you may not even know they're there. So what do you guys think? Is it a problem that these service dogs are on board the ship? Is the main dining room going to be full of nothing but smelly people smelling like dogs? Because truthfully, these dogs, they just don't want to even be there. Or are you on the side that says, folks, with these limitations that have service animals have the right to enjoy a vacation the same as everybody else? And look, if you don't want to risk being in a place where there's a service animal, then perhaps you should be the one that doesn't go there. And after reading this comment, would you give this particular passenger a refund? And that's going to be our video this week for what every cruiser wants. Just a trifecta of the big three in our cruise comments this week. I am Diamond. I am Platinum. I speak for everybody, and how rude can I possibly be? Are these people right? Are these people wrong? Are they speaking for the way that you want to cruise next time you are out on the high seas?